What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 653 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's KB coming at you solo dolo for most of the episode. We do have an awesome interview with myself and Jamil Demby from last weekend at his 4th annual youth football camp that you won't want to miss. Stick around for that. That'll be later on in the episode, but ready to get your week started right after a holiday weekend. Talking Phils, talking about all of our all-stars. An unfortunate series loss to the Braves. We'll talk some Sixers as well as they just continue to dominate the headlines quite a bit. And we will also, like I mentioned, have our sit-down interview with Jamil Demby, our guy, the OG Underground athlete. And I do have another guest announcement that I'll talk about later on in the show. So you don't want to miss any of that. Loaded show for you. Awesome stuff on deck. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia. Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. We've been posting a bunch on Threads over the weekend and gaining a lot of new followers and building some momentum on there and kind of just figuring things out. I was talking to Casey about it, and we're going to be posting a lot more on Threads, especially from the main account with Philly sports content over there as well. So if you're not following us on Threads already, make sure you do so. Go check us out at Underground PHI. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and allows us to be your one-stop shop for all things Philly sports by fans, for fans. So keep subscribing. Leave those 5-star reviews. And support your boys, support all of us here at Underground Sports, and do the damn thing. We're on the India All podcast charts as of this recording, which is pretty sweet. We're in the top 1,300 U.S. sports podcasts. Let's keep climbing that number up. Let's keep subscribing. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Keep subscribing. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get, pardon me, full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. Upcoming live streams, Moonshot Mania next Monday with myself, Stevie Mac, Patty Pitts, DJ. The crew is ready to watch some home runs fly and hopefully cheer on Alec Boehm to victory in the home run derby. And then we have a trade deadline live stream coming up with myself and Stevie Mac. We got a lot on deck, guys, that you won't want to miss. But subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment down below, your thoughts on everything we discuss on this episode. And as of right now, we're at 815 subscribers. Gaining some momentum in the subscriber growth. Let's keep it going. Let's get to 900 before the end of the month. I can feel it in my loins. I can taste it, that it's so attainable. And then going into the summer, the heart of the summer, we're going after 1K. Let's make it happen. YouTube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And, of course, this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on their social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Fightin' Phils lost the series to the Atlanta Braves. But guess what? They set a franchise record for most All-Stars in a single season. It's brought to you by our pals over at FOCO, the leading distributors in forever collectibles that are officially licensed with Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, the NFL, the NHL, MLS, Pro Soccer, college football, college basketball, WWE, you name it, FOCO has your collectible for your favorite team, your favorite player. You guys see me wearing the overalls. I got to order my shortalls. Got to get those bad boys in, ready to rock and roll for the rest of the summer and into September. You can do the same by clicking the link in the description and upgrading your forever collectibles today. That's FOCO.com. Link is in the description to check out the overalls, the shortalls, the velour tracksuits, the bobbleheads that are pristine. Go support FOCO. They support us. They're the best in the game. Hashtag Team FOCO. And shout out to FOCO for sponsoring the podcast. Phillies team record. A Phillies team record for a team that has been around since 1883. This is nothing to sleep on. This is magnificent. And of a roster in baseball that is composed of 26 players, the Phillies are sending 7 of their 26 players to the All-Star game. That's amazing, guys. So joining Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and our sweet baby boy Alec Bohm will be 4 more players, and it's 4 pitchers joining the boys in Texas. It will be Zach Wheeler making his second All-Star appearance of his career. His previous came in 2021. And then 3 first-time All-Stars. Ranger Suarez, Jeff Hoffman, and Matt Strahm. I tweeted this earlier and posted it on Threads as well. It's super awesome that the Phillies set a franchise record that with the 7 guys going to the All-Star game. It's the most of any team in baseball. But it's also really cool to sit back and also recognize that this is going to be Bryce Harper's first appearance in the All-Star game as a Philadelphia Philly. The previous 2 times he was elected, he was not able to play due to injury and wasn't even considered pretty much. It was in 2021 when he won the MVP and he got hit in the face. And then in 2022, I want to say, was it 2022? When he was obviously recovering from Tommy John surgery, he was unable to participate that season as well. I want to pull up the page here. But the fact that this is going to be Bryce Harper's first All-Star appearance in a Phillies uniform is crazy to think about. 2022, he was elected an All-Star. He missed out on 2021, missed out on 2022 due to the injury, and then was not elected last year. So this will be his first time being an All-Star representative in a Phillies uniform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it technically does count towards him being an All-Star, but he was just unavailable that year. He was inactive. So he will be available for this one, which is very cool. And it's going to be awesome to see Phillies first baseman Bryce Harper introduced as an All-Star starter. It's also Trey Turner's first All-Star game as a Philadelphia Philly. And I know Trey has been to a number of All-Star games before in his career, but it's really cool that this is the first time in a Phillies uniform that he'll be doing it. It's Alec Boehm's very first All-Star game. It's Ranger Suarez, Jeff Hoffman, and Matt Strahm's first All-Star games ever. Like, we're sending multiple first-time All-Stars and multiple first-time appearances. The only player in this group of 7 that has appeared as an All-Star in a Phillies uniform is Zach Wheeler. It's crazy to think about. But we are fulfilling something for 6 of these 7 guys for the first time in a Phillies uniform or the first time ever. And I think that's really special and that's really cool with this team, and seeing, the reactions from Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strahm especially, and how difficult it is to make an all-star team as a reliever, especially for Matt Strahm, where he's not a closer, he's not racking up saves, and that's primarily a stat that, you look at when it comes to the all-star game, and it's really cool to see that Matt Strahm was elected by the players. Jeff Hoffman was elected by the players to go to the All-Star game, and it just shows that their peers around Major League Baseball and their peers on their team, obviously, view and value what they have brought to the table in this first half of the season. And it's really cool to see Ranger Suarez get that recognition and how excited he is, and knowing that his family is going to be there for him. It's unfortunate that Zach Wheeler will not be able to pitch in the game because he's pitching next Sunday before the All-Star game, so it declares him ineligible. Hopefully Christopher Sanchez is the one replacing him. That would be awesome, and very well deserved. Either him or Aaron Nola, or both end up, replacing guys. But I think there's something so special about this group that the Phillies are sending to the All-Star game, and how special it's going to be for those 7 guys to be there together, take in this experience together. And, I almost liken it to Survivor in a way, if you're a Survivor fan, when it comes to the All-Star game. If you're going in with a big group of guys, whether it's, 3, 4, 5, 6, in the Phillies case, 7, you're going in with like a predetermined alliance, and you're going in knowing, your guys, and knowing how your guys operate, and those friendships and those bonds you have. But now your group of guys can go in and create bonds and memories with other guys from other teams, and who knows, maybe trade deadline rolls around, you become, teammates with those guys. But it is kind of like Survivor, where it's like, the merge happens almost. It's like a mid-season merge is the All-Star game, and you kind of get to connect and link up and meet guys for the first time sometimes in a lot of these instances. And I think it's going to be really special for like these 7 Phillies to be there. And I hope Zach still goes to the game and takes in all the festivities, because he deserves it. He's been spectacular. But it is really cool that, these 7 guys who I think a lot of people penciled in like they should be all-stars, and I think the only guys that got snubbed from the Phillies really are Christopher Sanchez and Aaron Nola. But when you look at it, like I said, Christopher Sanchez could be replacing Zach Wheeler by the time, things roll around, and hopefully that's the case, because Christopher Sanchez also deserves the honor of being an all-star for the first time in his career. And we'll see, if Aaron Nola gets the nod to replace somebody else, but it's going to be super special that these guys get to like take that in together, be at the Midsummer Classic together, and kind of just like reflect on what this first half of the year has been like for this Phillies team, what they can do better, what they need to do to continue on this pace, and really just persevere and push forward to attaining all of the goals that they set for not only themselves, but just the team in general, winning the division, getting back to the World Series, and winning the World Series. It's really cool that, this group gets to go together, and, they'll be cheering on Alec Boehm in the All-Star home run derby, which will be really, really fun. I think there's 3 participants now as of Sunday: Gunnar Henderson, Alec Boehm, and that Sneech Pete Alonso is in the home run derby as well, so that'll be a ton of fun. But I'm very excited, for the All-Star game and to set a franchise record with how many unbelievable teams the Phillies have had in my lifetime and before my lifetime. The late 70s to early 80s, and then obviously the run from 07 to 11. There's a lot of talent on those All-Star teams, and the fact that this Phillies team has eclipsed any previous record is pretty special. And I hope that, at the end of the day, it all comes to fruition, and this is the year that they get it done. But they still have work to do. Dave Dombrowski still has a lot of work to do. And I'm very excited for these 7 guys, and hopefully more will be joining them by the time, this weekend rolls around and we see pitchers who are pitching and get declared ineligible for the All-Star game due to the rules that they have in place and what guys potentially aren't able to make it, position player-wise, whatever it may be. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see how that all plays out. The Phils lost the series to the Braves, 2-1. It happens. I'm not mad. I'm not disappointed. Ranger Suarez has kind of been off his mark the past couple of games that he has pitched, and that was the case again on Saturday. And then Sunday you throw Michael Mercado almost to the Wolves, where it almost felt like he was a little too amped up for that start, and the nerves got to him, the moment got to him a little bit. And that's completely normal. That's human nature. I'm not knocking him whatsoever. I think he's still a very talented pitcher. But, it sucks that you lose, and then the Braves fans online want to go and run their mouths and be certified yappers. The Phillies have gone 5-4 without Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper in the lineup. And they entered that stretch where those guys went down 8 games back in the division. They go 5-4, so 1 game above 500. They leave this stretch where Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, it appears Tuesday could be the return date for both of them. Certainly for Kyle Schwarber. We'll see for Bryce Harper. They leave this stretch without those guys 8 games up in the division and still the best team in baseball. I'm okay. Like, is it a little concerning that Ranger's been off his mark? Sure. Is it a little concerning that Zach Wheeler's last start wasn't his best? Sure. This team is going to get the All-Star break at a perfect time. They're going to be able to regroup, reset, and guess what? The end of July rolls around, this team's going to look a whole hell of a lot different because there's going to be a lot of, new faces coming into this team, whether it's bullpen, starting pitching, outfield, bench depth for infield, outfield. It's going to be fine, guys. This team is still on pace to win over 100 games, still on pace to break the franchise record for wins in a season. And then we know that they come to play and turn it on when the lights shine brightest, and that's in the postseason. They're 58-32. And they're still 8 games up in the division, and I'm totally okay. Like, I'm fine. Like, they're gonna be all right. They play better at home. They're gonna be home for 6 games going into the All-Star break against the Dodgers and the A's. The pitching matchups line up well for them against the Dodgers, which is exciting. And they're gonna figure some things out. The rest is going to help them during the All-Star break, and allegedly, according to America's GM, Jim Bowden, on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio, the Phillies have their eyes on Luis Robert, Jazz Chisholm, and Cody Bellinger. Quite interesting, to say the least. This is what Jim Bowden had to say about the situation. because I did find it interesting that Cody Bellinger's name was in the mix here. And this goes along with Tanner Scott being thrown in the mix, and Brent Rooker, who I'll talk about as well. But I saw this earlier in the day before the Brent Rooker stuff. And shout out to Phil's Tailgate on Twitter for popping the audio out there for the people. But this was Jim Bowden on MLB Network Radio, talking about the Phillies moves. And I agree with some of it. I don't agree with all of what Jim Bowden said, but here we go.
Yeah, I guess my take is very clear in what Sam Fuld and Dave Dombrowski, the Phillies, are trying to do. They're trying to fix center field, and they've made it the priority. They feel like they have enough starting pitching and they have enough bullpen. They feel like their lineup is good, but they really want to figure out center field. And so Lewis Robert of the White Sox, Jazz Chisholm of the Miami Marlins, and Cody Bellinger of the Cubs have been their top priority. Now, they know that both Robert and Chisholm are available and that both of those teams will trade them. The Cubs have not decided yet if they're going to buy, sell, or hold. But the Phillies have made it clear to every GM in the game that they've talked to, or president, that that's their goal. That's their target. That's it. And knowing Dave Dombrowski, who, by the way, will someday be a Hall of Famer after winning a world championship with Boston and taking the Tigers there and winning a world championship with the Marlins and taking the Phillies there. I hadn't won one yet. This might be the year, but he's a Hall of Famer. The one thing I know about him is when he targets something, he'll get it. And when he targets it, it's not going to be a risk. It's going to be the best. When he targets the best, he gets the best. So Dave's going to get one of those three guys. That's my best guess for the Phillies at the trade deadline. They get one of the three. I don't know which one, and it's going to cost them because when they're done making that deal, they're going to end up having to put Aiden Miller in it, and they're going to have to put in one of their top pitching prospects too. So it's going to be a price, but they're going to pay it. They're going to pay it.
That would be. I mean, Bellinger's the perfect.
I don't agree with them having to put Aiden Miller in a deal to get either Luis Robert or Jazz Chisholm, especially in the Jazz Chisholm front. Luis Robert, I think there's ways to alleviate having to give up somebody like an Aiden Miller. I think if you're trading for Luis Robert, Christian Pache is probably in that deal. There's going to be some other level prospects along the way. Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter are your two untouchables. You listen on everything else, see what teams say. I think that I tweeted this as well. I think there's a universe, and hopefully it's the one we're living in, where the Phillies can acquire both Luis Robert Jr. and Jazz Chisholm. Makes his team infinitely better. Allows Brandon Marsh to be in left field. Allows Luis Robert Jr. to be in center field. Days you want to play him at DH, Jazz Chisholm plays center field. Jazz Chisholm can also be your upgrade over Whit Merrifield and play the infield, his natural position. I think there's a world where Dave Dombrowski can make that happen. What will it cost? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But I think they can get both of those guys, and in a deal alongside with Jazz Chisholm, maybe you up the ante a little bit, maybe you alleviate it somehow, and you get Tanner Scott for the back of the bullpen as well. I think there's a world where that can happen, and then you don't have to give up too much to go and get somebody like a Zach Eflin to be a fifth starter and more bullpen ammunition in October. There's a real chance. I might sound crazy and it might sound ridiculous that I think this is possible, but I do think it's possible that Dave Dombrowski can go and get Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox, Jazz Chisholm, and Tanner Scott from the Marlins, and then go and get somebody like a Zach Eflin, if not Zach Eflin himself. Now, the other interesting name that came out today was from Bob Nightingale, So obviously, take it for what you will, but interesting stuff. Brent Rooker was mentioned when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies. And he would be an absolute joy to root for. He is awesome. He's such a great person. And I think he would fit just the vibes of the city of Philadelphia so well. And I'm looking here through this article. So the little blip here is the Philadelphia Phillies are keeping a close eye on Oakland A's left fielder Brent Rooker. The Phillies ranked 26th in OPS among left fielders this season. He'd be a great addition. Some other things, barring a dramatic turnaround, rival GMs expect the Rangers to make starters Max Scherzer, Michael Lorenzen, and Andrew Heaney available. That's something to keep an eye on, along with relievers David Robertson and Kirby Yates. Rangers veteran starter Nate Eovaldi needs to pitch 76 more innings this year for his $20 million conditional player option to vest in 2025. He has a limited no-trade clause. That's something to keep an eye on, too. Kirby Yates is definitely a player to watch. He's older. Obviously, he's 37 years old. Michael Lorenzen, obviously, we have a connection there with him. He would be great to bring back, in my opinion. Andrew Heaney's an interesting name to keep an eye on. The other name from the White Sox, Eric Fetty, is somebody the Phillies should keep an eye on. Luis Rengifo from the Angels is somebody I'm adding to my wish list for sure. Carlos Estevez is another player to keep an eye on from the Angels. There's a lot of interesting names. The Cody Bellinger thing is fascinating to me because if we look at Cody Bellinger and his current contract setup, because obviously he was one of the Boris 4 this offseason and signed a contract that was 3 years, $80 million, all guaranteed, obviously, and let's see how it all breaks down. So he just signed this. So he can opt out after this year. So effectively, you're trading for a half-season rental of Cody Bellinger as long as he opts out of the deal, which who knows if he does. If he doesn't, cool. You have Cody Bellinger for his age 29 and age 30 seasons. At about $27.5 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. If I'm the Phillies, I'm trying to get the Cubs to pay a little bit of that money, but that's a fascinating name. I mean, Cody Bellinger's stats this year are solid. Like, he has not been bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's got a .9 WAR. He's hitting .266 with 9 home runs, 37 RBI. I mean, you're talking about a guy who is a 2-time All-Star, won the Mickey Mouse World Series with the Dodgers. He was a Rookie of the Year, an MVP, an NLCS MVP, a 2-time Silver Slugger, a Gold Glover. Can play center field, right field, and first base. The Bellinger thing is fascinating to me. Because he's somebody that was not on my radar whatsoever for the Phillies. But if the Cubs decide to move on from him, you have to ask what the price is going to be. He's a move-the-needle type of player. You put Cody Bellinger in this lineup, now it makes the Phillies extremely left-handed. And I want to see what his stats are against lefties this year, potentially, if I can find that. But I mean, do you say no to adding a Cody Bellinger if you have the ability to do so? I don't think so. I don't think you do. You know, he's coming off a great season last year with the Cubs, a big-time bounce-back year. Obviously, we haven't seen the power numbers from him like we did in 2017 and 2019 when he was with the Dodgers. And he hasn't played a full season in his career outside of 2018. But, I mean, let's check out the splits. Because Cody Bellinger, like, the big thing with the Phillies is, can he hit lefties? So, versus left-handed pitching this year, Cody Bellinger is hitting .326 in 98 plate appearances, 95 at-bats, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 14 RBI, 2 walks, 17 strikeouts. He's like reverse splitting he hits lefty, right? Yeah, he's a left-handed hitter, and he's reverse splitting. He hits lefties better than he hits righties. That's crazy. That's a fascinating thing, guys. The trade deadline is going to be absolutely bonkos. Brent Rooker, though, is another player to keep an eye on. I love him. I think he would be awesome here, but his career trajectory is almost as a DH, so do you want to give up assets for somebody who projects to be that? I don't know. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on, and if you can get him for cheap, like, that's awesome. I don't know what his contract is per se. Let's see. Brent Rooker's contract. He's on a 1-year deal for $750,000 because he plays for the A's. That's what happens. When is he arbitration bound? So he'll enter arbitration starting this year at age 30. Maybe somebody cool. Like, he's a huge bench upgrade for sure. Like, over Apache, over a Whit Merrifield, over David Dahl. Like, that's your outfield bench upgrade, in my opinion, is Brent Rooker. I don't know if you trade for him to be a starter, per se. He could start for you if you need him to. But, he's hitting .278, 18 home runs, a 2.4 WAR this year. He's an all-star, I believe, for the A's. 4 stolen bases, 54 RBI. So, I mean, it's definitely a move that is kind of like not that A++ tier, but it's a huge move to kind of just keep an eye on. Looking here. Yeah, man, he fits in with the timeline of the Phils right now, so, like, he's somebody that you can get for cheap, would fit in with this culture and clubhouse big time, and he wouldn't be your only outfield move. Like, you can still go get Luis Robert Jr. while getting Brent Rooker, in my opinion. So definitely something to keep an eye on there, for sure. But All-Star break's going to be awesome. We still have a lot of baseball. I'm going to be at Citizens Bank Park on Friday and Sunday. So a lot of fun stuff coming from CBP from the boy. But before we talk Sixers, we are going to take a quick timeout to bring you an awesome interview. The boy, Jamil Demby, on the show for the first time in, I think, like 3 years. It's been a long, long time. We weren't even doing YouTube yet, I think, the last time that he was on. But this was after his 4th annual youth football camp, kind of just breaking down everything from the camp to, life. He's a Super Bowl champion and just what his journey has been And it was really cool to sit down with somebody who I've known for such a long time, like well over a decade, and just getting perspective on so much and what we're doing in our community. And this is not the last you're going to hear from Jamil on this podcast and on this network, because we are up to something, baby. But before I kick it to Jamil, I do want to let you guys know about a little something. If you haven't been paying attention, we have a brand new project here at Underground Sports Philadelphia called Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast. That's right. We're bringing Olympics coverage to the Underground, where all of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia personalities will come together to discuss, banter, and talk about the 2024 Paris Olympic Games and beyond. We should be talking a little preview pretty soon, as we are very, very close to opening ceremonies, about a couple weeks away. But we're very excited for this project. It's going to be a group effort. Live streams will be a part of it. Video format we're figuring out. But it will definitely be on Apple and Spotify. So subscribe to Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast on those platforms. Just search Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast, or Underground Sports Philadelphia. You'll be able to find it. And leave a 5-star review, leave a 5-star rating. Let us know your favorite Olympic sport and, how you want us to approach coverage for your favorite sport. We're very much looking forward to this, and it's going to be a ton of fun all summer long during the Olympic Games. So stay tuned for Olympics coverage here at Underground Sports Philadelphia via Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast presented by Underground Sports Philadelphia, wherever you get your podcasts. And I also want to talk to you guys about our awesome beer partner, Kenwood Beer, the official beer of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, and Delaware areas. It's down the shore now, everybody. All those shore towns for your beach trips. Go stock up on some Kenny's. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. And check out the Kenwood Beer storefront for awesome pint glasses and apparel. That's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And now, without any further ado, let's kick it to myself and the man, the myth, the legend, Super Bowl champion, Jamil Demby. Good. It's real. It's post game.
No, for real, bro.
All right. What is going on, everybody? We are live from Vineland Midget Football League. It's KB, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the OG underground athlete himself, Jamil Demby, Super Bowl champion, NFC champion. Just finished up his 4th annual football camp. A wild success once again, brother.
Yeah, man. No, it was insane. Every year I get really, really nervous because there's a lot of moving parts, but just surrounded by a great community, great people, great family, my lovely wife, and, we just get it done. And the camp always takes its course and ends up well, so it was an amazing day.
Beautiful weather, first of all.
Oh, my gosh. Couldn't have been better.
Could not have been better.
Couldn't have been better. I couldn't believe it, bro. I was like, expecting to be hot, humid like it's been all week. I was at my buddy's camp last week, Abdullah Anderson, and out in Atlantic City, and, man, I got burnt. And today this weather was amazing. We obviously went from 5:30 to 8:30, but, man, it was beautiful.
Perfect weather, perfect vibes, and a sensational turnout.
Yes.
It was packed to the gills out here.
Exactly, man. No, it was insane. We had a little under 200 registered, and then we always allow, we make sure we have good enough margin of shirts and food and drinks for anybody to pop up the day of. So it was a amazing, amazing turnout.
The 4th time that you've done this, obviously last year recovering from injury, so had to take the year off, but how cool was it for you to be just back out here doing what you love, giving back to the community that, built your love for football?
Oh man, it was amazing, and just to do it where I've grown up and to do it with an amazing, sensational league and Vineland Midget Football League that honestly made me who I am. So just to be able to give back to the kids that are going through the same journey I am, and allowing them to just see the culture, see the coaches that are involved in Vineland Midget Football League, and we had some NFL guys out here as well. Former teammates and Jersey guys that have had a lot of success, former coaches, and just a lot of people that wanted to contribute and pour back in to the community. So it's just surreal. It's surreal, the support, and beyond blessed.
We had Coach Goose, one of our own here at Underground now, and he popped out with Coach Cliff Smith to see them coming out too.
Exactly.
It's got to be pretty special for you with the connection and relationship you have with those guys.
Exactly, and Coach Goose is doing an amazing job. And, there's a few coaches that came from here that are now coaching at VHS, and it's just amazing for him to come back, be able to see some, future clan members, some future Violent High School members, that are coming up in the ranks, and then be able to show that VHS cares as well. So it was beautiful, and I know he's going to have continued success. He's been doing a great job, so I appreciate all of VHS and all the VHS kids that have came out and helped out. So it was amazing.
And to see some of your former teammates and obviously some NFL alum with you as well today, like how cool was that for them to come into the mix, be in the community with you, and kind of just see where it all got started for you with your journey? Yeah,
no, it was awesome. And what I love about it too is that, I had some big boys with me. I had another offensive lineman, my buddy Julian Davenport. And he's a Jersey guy. He went to a small school in Bucknell. And, he's going on his 8th year in the NFL, and he's an OG of it. And then my buddy Abdullah Anderson, whose camp I went to last year, was just with the Commanders last year. And, it's just amazing. He's a defensive lineman. So I got the big boys out because, there's a lot of kids that when I was their age now in VMFL, were a little bigger, were a little lazy, and sometimes they don't get to see the North Star of a big guy being able to, have success in football. That you always want to be the running back, the wide receiver, the quarterback. And so to have some big guys out here representing that had success was amazing.
And, Donovan Bennett pulled up, too. You want to talk about big boys.
My guy, Donovan Bennett, man.
Salute our soldier there.
For real. He never peaks out. He was a guy, he is the epitome of, a grinder, a football player, and what Vineland High School is about. That guy, I want to say, never played football in his life, and came to VHS, grinded as a freshman, and he went to college as well to play ball. And
was a marching band
at the
same
marching
time.
Band and so he's just the epitome of what VHS is about. And now he's in bodybuilding, and it's crazy. We talked one time at VHS, and I was like, hey man, he was already naturally strong, so I was like, hey, you might have a future with this outside of football. And now he's crushing it. So I'm proud of him and happy that he pulled up as well.
And, just to see the turnout today between, like we mentioned, some of your friends in the NFL, former teammates in high school, current VHS players as well coming out to support and help out, and then just the plethora of, the youth talent out here.
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty surreal for you.
I mean, it's insane. And I said it, I thought to myself, and was just how surreal it is that especially being, now just out of two seasons out of the NFL, the support has only gotten better. And, there's still kids that, no matter how long I've been out, that still come up to me and look up to me. And it's honestly, it just brings you back to reality that, I got to keep pushing. I got to keep giving back. And that's my purpose. So it's just surreal and amazing.
And, to see just the connection that we talk about all the time, just supporting guys and everybody from South Jersey as much as we possibly can, to see the guys come out today to support. You've been going out to other guys' camps, more camps going on this weekend, just to see the culmination of how South Jersey athletics as a whole has kind of burst onto the scene since we were in high school to, you moving on to college and then to the NFL. Just seeing how it's grown has been insane.
Yeah, no, seriously. We were talking about it the other day. It's just wild. Like, and I remember, I always say this, that me making it to the NFL, a lot of it was, yes, I wanted to, help my family out financially. It was my passion and my dream to make it to the NFL. But one of my main reasons was to show people in the area that it was possible, that, they can go on Google and be like, I want to go to the NFL and look up, what violent players in the NFL. And they could have some faith, because when I was younger, I didn't really see it. And I thought it was merely impossible. So I thought, I'm going to do everything I can to show people that they can make it not only to the NFL, but make it out of Vineland High School. Because a lot of people thought you couldn't, make it to get a Division I scholarship or go play college ball coming from Vineland High School because of just our sporadic, success in our down years. So I just wanted to try to be that vessel. And, now coming back, having my camps, and now other people are having camps. So it just seems like a lot of people are contributing to that, and, they believe now. So all I hoped is that I was just, someone who could pioneer and be a vessel and just show and just be a piece of the puzzle. That's all I am. So.
And we were kind of rattling off just all the names, too, that have kind of come out of South Jersey over the last almost decade now. And It's crazy how the list just continues to grow. And, we were talking about this year seeing, last year Bo Melton, this year Max Melton going in the second round, kind of, setting another standard for South Jersey football. And who knows, who that first-round pick is going to be. But, that's on the table now.
No, exactly, yeah. It's just now it's more and more possible. It just seems more and more possible. So – it's just amazing, and this whole weekend is stacked up with camps. We got Marquise Bell, who's with the Cowboys tomorrow, in Bridgeton. LaQuint Allen, who's starting early, doing really well at Syracuse. Last week, like I said, we had my boy Abdullah Anderson. And then, we got Isaiah Pacheco of Vineland hosting a bunch of camps all over. And, just the sky's the limit. There's so many guys, and, a lot of people can't say South Jersey ain't it now. So there's a lot of different guys that's putting on for South Jersey, and a lot of people really can't say nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we were out there today, I got a text from one of my buddies at Eagles defensive tackle Milton Williams and Zach McPherson were holding a 7-on-7 competition. Millville, Pleasantville, Camden Eastside, and Camden Catholic all out there with 2 Eagles players.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that just tells you right there. And so now it's like a lot of people can't say, oh, I may not be able to make – well, you can't make it from there. And I think a lot of that is out the window. So it definitely gives these kids a lot of hope. And that's just the biggest blessing, for me. So it's amazing.
And to see, we talked about the turnout today, but just to see how engaged so many different age groups were today with everything you had going on, with every coach out there, that had to be pretty surreal.
Yeah, and you start to realize that the camp starts to take its – the camp is going to camp. It's going to take its course. We had a few things planned, and our initial circuits were going so well, and guys were definitely attentive. And it's hard because you got to from ages 5 to 4, you got to keep every level very attentive. And then we had some music come on, and they turned up to that. And they were
shout out Boss Man D-Lo.
Yeah, Boss Man D-Lo, Central C. And my boy DJ Muggastacks, man, he was on the 1s and 2s. And, they were just ready to get in competitive mode. So we went through our drills, and we had a whole another set of different stations. But they were ready to just get after it. And even the youngest kids, usually they're all out floating around. But we did tug-of-war, relay race, and then we did a whole one group race to see who's the fastest out of that. And they were honestly just like, hey, bring on some more competition. And so we did that, and I was definitely appreciative of how the kids reacted to that. So it was amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think seeing Abdul and Julian out there even raised the bar that much more, because it's like, oh, these giant figures that are right in front of us. We gotta show up and show out and show them that we have what it takes to take it to them. And I feel like every single person going over to that station was just like dialed in and wanted to show off their pure grit and skill.
Exactly, yeah, because for them it's an opportunity. We're a free youth football camp, but they know. I feel like they know now because of we were talking about. There's a lot of different people who's doing a lot of different great things. So they see it as an opportunity because you never know. We got VHS here. We even had coaches from Absegami. And like you said, we have different, we had different NFL coaches, different former Division I coaches, players and coaches. So you never know who's watching. I feel like they know, regardless if it's a free youth camp, there's people watching them. So they show up and show out for sure.
And that's got to be pretty cool for you too, to see people from Absegami coming out to support
Yeah.
a Vineland kind of led football camp and
Yeah.
seeing, they want to be a part of the puzzle as well.
That was actually insane. And it all comes apart of just, you never know what handshake, you never know what new relationship may lead to another one. And me going to Abdul's camp, I was able to connect with them, and they heard about my camp, and they're like, wow, okay, you're here supporting, we'll come out and support you as well. And it just so happens, just from talking to them, I already pretty much knew them from Abdul and also some other people. So we hit it off, and they came out, and I was just like, wow, they really came out from Absegami. They didn't have nothing to do with Vineland.
Right.
So that actually, sitting here and really looking back, that's amazing. I'm actually mind blown about that, because this might be the first time we had some legitimate, high school coaches from different schools come out. So it's amazing.
And, Ryan Shelton was here, and you guys
Yeah.
obviously have a great relationship, and seeing his growth, too, from where he was as a player to now being on the Vineland football coaching staff. How surreal is that for you to kind of just see how he's developed, from player to teammate to now being a coach on Goose's staff?
Yeah, because I will definitely say this. There's a lot of coaches that may not have been able to that can't be a player, and there's a lot of players who can't coach. It's very hard to transition. So he's been insane, honestly. His growth, one, in the weight room and as a player when I was watching him younger, was insane. He has a crazy work ethic, and he's just a great guy. And now how he's elevating on the coaching staff is honestly amazing, and I hear nothing but good things, not only from other coaches but from other players. And when you have the respect of your players, that's where you win. So.
And when you see, some of the Vineland football players that are of this generation coming out to support you and coming out to be a part of this and showcasing, like, hey, like, you kind of paved the way for us to be where we're at now. How cool is it seeing, like, this generation of VHS football out here?
Yeah, no, it's honestly crazy. And then it's insane seeing some of those guys. I say, wait, hey, you were at the camp a few years ago. And he's like, yeah, I just couldn't believe it, honestly. And then you start realizing, man, I'm getting older. Look how much time.
That's the truth.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. But no, it's awesome. And just that some of the guys even know, because when you're an offensive lineman, it's a little bit different. Your name only really gets called when you're doing something wrong. So of course, locally, there's a lot of people but there's some that don't. They really may not even know what position I play. They just say, hey, I heard of you, yeah, because it's not. I don't play a really sexy position. So for younger guys that I've never crossed paths with to know, like, hey, yeah, you're Jamil Demby. Hey, I came to your camp. And I'm like, wow. So I am thankful and hopeful that, part of the camp was an impact on them in their future. So
You brought the ring with you.
Yeah, we bought
to kind of, have that moment. I remember when you guys won that Super Bowl against the Bengals, and you're in the locker room on Instagram Live, and I tapped in with you, and it's like, holy hell, like, my boy just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like,
that was insane.
Take me just through, because we haven't gotten a chance to really talk about it that much, you and I. Like, take me through just that feeling of clock hit 0, confetti falls on the field, and you're a Super Bowl champion.
Honestly, it was honestly insane. Like, I was talking to you about it before, and my wife knows when we traded for Matt Stafford, me being in Detroit a little bit, I knew the player he was, and I also knew what type of time Sean McVay was on. So I already knew we had a shot. But then seeing it all come together, and many may not know, a lot do, that I was injured that year, season-ending injury. So I was on the sidelines just watching everything come together, and being able to be present and being able to be on the sideline and witness that. It was special. I mean, it was kind of like, how you feel watching Friday Night Lights and seeing everything come together and going through that adversity. and just turning out to be a special moment. I mean, honestly, just seeing other guys who've been fighting all their career. You know, a guy like, you know, Andrew Whitworth, Aaron Donald, that been playing the game for so long. And Stafford, I mean, you name it. And they finally got that moment. And I'm like, wow, I'm in year 4. Guys dreamed of this moment. And there's some veteran guys who are accomplished, but not accomplished yet until they get that moment. And seeing them get that moment made me very emotional because it's a grind. It's not easy. It's very, very hard to make it to the mountaintop. So when that confetti fell, I mean, nothing could stop me. I felt unstoppable that day. That's the feeling I gave to a lot of people. And, man, it was a blessing.
And, you know, we talk about the South Jersey pipeline now. 3 straight years the Lombardi has stayed in Vineland.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And it's crazy. Right after 2023, Chiefs go. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and we have Isaiah Pacheco of Vineland. A lot of people know, obviously. And he's in one of those positions where when I was younger, I dreamed of being running the ball. And not only is he running the ball, but he's taking the handoff from not only one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it, and Pat Mahomes. So for him to do it versus the Eagles, hometown team for a lot of people.
Again, with the coach that we all grew up rooting for.
Yeah, Andy Reid. You know, and then the next year they end up taking it home. And to be able to do that for 3 straight years and say that, not only is it impossible, not only are the odds so slim to make it to the NFL, if we went through the numbers, we'll be here forever, but the small percentage to make it to the NFL, then not only that, to finish your career with a Super Bowl ring, and then not only 1 violent player, but 2, and then he wins the second one. I mean, the odds are so slim. Like if we put up some numbers here, it would be like 0.0000.
It's literally Doctor Strange going through all the permutations and Avengers.
And just to really think about that, and that's also one of my people really don't understand the magnitude of that. Like if you really zeroed in on how insane that is, it's very, very special. And that's how I knew this was God's plan, and this was, you know, God's way of showing, like, man, Vineland is really a special place. And if you stay disciplined and you stay true to who you are, you know, one day you can make it to somewhere that you've always wanted to. And I think that right there is just epitome of it all. So it's very, very special, man.
You know, you'll have a back-to-back Super Bowl champion and Bad Bunny posting you on his Instagram story.
Insane, yeah. No, that is insane. When I saw that, I was like, dang.
You talk about doing it for the culture.
I know. I'm like, man, I'm jealous of that. I love Bad Bunny, especially when we was out in Puerto Rico when his album came out one time. I was like, man, this is a different type of culture. And then him be able to rock the flag, I was like, man, that's cold.
Before we know it, Bad Bunny's going to be rapping about pop.
Yeah, I know. For real, though. Because it's too a lot of that, like I said, that position is a very known position. Running back, quarterback, like when you're anywhere you're around the ball, wide receiver, and you can make that big play, people love that, and they gravitate towards that. So if you have someone that, you know, like Bad Bunny, I'm sure maybe he didn't watch a ton of football growing up, and he's able to see someone of his culture doing it big on that stage. I'm sure him himself is excited to see that. So to get a repost from Bad Bunny is
big time.
That's big time. And
then, you know, we talked about South Jersey. There's another Vineland kid right on the way.
Yeah.
Our guy Tyreem is on his way, you know, doing big things. He's hosting a podcast now with one of his teammates at Rutgers, and, you know, last year on the Butkus Award watch, and, you know, coming back from injury this year, you know, he's ready to come back with a vengeance and be that next player from Vineland to make it to the NFL.
Exactly. And just his size and his stature alone is just already his draft stock is very much unique, and it's up there, and it's a lot higher than a lot of other prospects just off of his size, his speed, athleticism alone. So you know, he's well on his way, man, and God willing, he continues to have success at Rutgers, and you know, the sky's the limit for that young man, and I'm I'm just happy to be able to now say, you know, when people talk about Vineland, okay, yeah, I know about Pop, I know about Tyreem. Tyreem's coming up. Okay, y'all had Demby. Like, there's not just one. So it's like now we can talk about these conversations, because before, back in the day, if someone was trying to clown Vineland, it was really hard to, you know, clap back. So it's like now you can't, especially in South Jersey, you can't say nothing. So it's amazing, and you know, I pray he continues to have a lot of success, and I know he will. So.
Hey, man, congrats on another successful camp.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me be part of it, as always. And
course,
stay tuned, because we're not done. We're always plotting and scheming.
Yeah,
we
we
got some
plot.
things in the works. So
Heck yeah, bro.
definitely keep your ears and eyes peeled for more stuff from Jamil Demby at Underground Sports Philadelphia. And appreciate you, brother.
Man, I appreciate you, man. You guys don't even understand the stuff this guy does behind the scenes. And for all my creators out there, man, you know how it is. And this guy, man, he can do it all. So I'm very thankful for him, and I just wanted to say that right here on the live, man, on the broadcast. So, man, I appreciate you, brother.
You're the best.
Yes, sir.
Big shout out to Jamil, the big homie, for always putting on for our city and doing the damn thing. And it's always a pleasure getting to sit down with him and chop it up and just talk life. And we got some big things coming. We're very excited about, and you'll hear more about it hopefully in the near future, because it is #UpToSomething season. Let's talk a little Sixers here. And it is brought to you by our awesome pals over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. From sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses, Tomahawk Shades has you covered to make sure your eyes are protected as possible, whether you're outside, inside, in between. You should be protecting your eyes with our friends at Tomahawk Shades, founded by two brothers on Long Island. They were here to get you out of the habit of having to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on expensive sunglasses that you are going to end up losing, breaking, every which way. It's a higher quality product for a fraction of the price. I'm not even kidding, guys. These sunglasses are the most comfortable sunglasses I've ever put on my face. I love wearing my Tomahawk Shades, and that's not even because they're a sponsor. I truly, having worn the big eyewear companies before and wearing Tomahawk Shades now, I would never go back. Tomahawk Shades is the best in the game. Currently owned by some of the biggest athletes and former athletes in the game. Chris Hogan, Kyle Harrison, John Jay, Daniel Descalzo. Some legends in the sporting world. Go to TomahawkShades.com and use code USP for 25% off your next order from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. That's TomahawkShades.com, or you can download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store, Google Play Store, and the same thing. Get 25% off your next order with code USP from our friends at Tomahawk Shades at TomahawkShades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. Paul George got his number leaked by the Sixers. He was going to announce it on the Podcast P show. Shout out to the boys. On Monday. We're competing with them on a new episode. Gotta love that. But the Sixers posted it, and Paul George will be wearing number 8 in honor of Lower Merion's own Kobe Bryant. And then tonight, the Sixers put out one of the most beautiful, heartfelt, and like perfectly curated videos I've seen in a long time for a player that we all hope will be a Sixer forever, and that's Tyrese Maxey. Just a beautiful, beautiful way to like let it be known that you are loved here, cherished here, and we want you here forever. The video, we'll link it in the description. It is absolutely, it gave me chills. Like, I had tears welling up in my eyeballs from it, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Like, the fact that Tyrese Maxey has gone from playing effectively like 2.5 months of college basketball at Kentucky to being drafted by the Sixers because a pick conveyed and he fell to 21 and has turned into an all-star and a superstar right before our eyes alongside Joel Embiid is nothing short of what sports is all about. And it was really cool to just see how loved and appreciated Tyrese Maxey was by the organization, by some franchise legends, by some Philadelphia legends, and by Joel Embiid himself. We love Tyrese Maxey here. Genuinely one of my favorite athletes to watch perform at his craft, game in and game out, and is just such a kind soul and just such a beautiful ambassador for the game and a beautiful ambassador for the city of Philadelphia. We are so lucky to have him here, and I genuinely cannot tell you another player who is more deserving of the treatment Tyrese got from the team in that video than Tyrese Maxey. It was beautiful. Job well done to everybody involved. And I couldn't be happier that Tyrese Maxey is here to stay. Sixers also made some moves since the last time we talked. Caleb Martin is coming to Philadelphia. He said, forget about that Heat culture. We're talking about Philly culture, baby. He left the Heat, allegedly was offered a 4-year, $65 million deal, and left that on the table to sign a 4-year, $32 million deal with the 76ers. I believe it was a 5-year, $65 million deal with the Heat. Signs a 4-year, $32 million deal with the Sixers, coming on in to play alongside Joel, Tyrese, Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Jared McCain, the rest of the boys, man. This team is doing something to me, everybody. And, you know, Caleb Martin comes in, and this goes without saying in the Tyrese Maxey video. They also soft launched or hard launched, however you want to approach it. The Allen Iverson era black jersey is coming back. What a time. The Tyrese Maxey black Allen Iverson jersey is going to go multi-platinum in Philadelphia. Tyrese held that thing up, and Joel Embiid, you hear him say it, it's about time. And it is so about time that jersey comes back. I will not buy a Sixers jersey faster than the Allen Iverson era Sixers jersey. That thing is my childhood personified. And I know everybody's going to be like, Kyle, but you talk so much shit on the Kelly Green jerseys. The Sixers never won anything in the black AI jerseys. Guess what? If you know me, you know I am a blackout uniform enthusiast. The black AI jerseys clear the Kelly Green jerseys that the Eagles have. Clear. Leaps and bounds. And the blue AI era jerseys do the same thing. They clear the Kelly Green jerseys. The Kelly Greens are the third best throwback capsule in Philadelphia. It's the powder blue Phillies, AI era black and blue, and then Kelly Green. Debate your mothers. But they hard launched the return of the AI era Sixers jersey, which will be their classic jersey, I think, this year, or it'll be their city jersey this year, city edition. Pumped, baby. Get me one of those things. Sixers, if you're listening, hook your boy up. Daryl, how we doing? But yeah, that is awesome, and I can't wait to see Tyrese and Joel in those jerseys because they're going to look fucking spectacular. Caleb Martin joins the fold. I love that signing. He's a dog. He's a beast in the playoffs. He dominates the Celtics, and he's going to be a force with this team. And Paul George, along with Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, like the roster's really coming together. And I talked about it on the last episode. Like the blueprint is kind of coming to fruition now, and you're seeing the pieces fall into place. And it's really like finally putting a team around Joel and Tyrese to have them succeed for the very first time together in their careers. And it's just awesome. It's awesome that, for all of this to happen, so many little details had to occur and come to fruition, and they all have. And hopefully, things work out this time, because Joel Embiid deserves it, Tyrese Maxey deserves it, genuinely Paul George deserves it, and I hope it comes to fruition with these guys, because this is a likable group once again, and the vibe of this team feels so much different already than last year. Last year was like, what are we doing? Like, what is this team? And it just felt like James Harden and friends, came to play with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. This feels like a team for the very first time in a long time, and that's exciting. And everyone should be excited about that. Obviously, you want to keep your expectations tempered, because this team has not proven that they've been able to get over the hump in the playoffs yet. But that shouldn't eliminate any excitement you have about the way that they've approached this offseason. This is one of the best offseasons Daryl Morey has had since coming to the Sixers. So it's something to be excited about for sure. And I'm pumped. And I'm very happy for Tyrese Maxey, very happy for Joel Embiid, and very happy for the return of the AI-era jerseys, allegedly. And very pumped to listen to Podcast P for the first time. Now that he's here, there's a reason to really listen, and, if there's anything that pops up, we'll definitely be talking about it on this show for sure. So shout out to Paul George. We do have a guest announcement that I can talk about. There's a couple that I can't talk about just yet. But we do have a guest announcement. We're just working on the booking of it. But you guys know him. He's one of the best Philadelphia Union beat reporters out there. Jose Roberto Nunez has agreed to come on the pod. He'll be coming on the pod soon to kind of just give myself, a casual Union fan, a little insight on what has gone wrong for this team so quickly. There's been this weekend was crazy down at the Subaru Park, with supporter section signs and everything. And just to give everyone kind of an idea of what the hell is going on with that team, because the fall from grace has been swift, and excited to see what he has to say and bring to the table, and excited to get a first-time guest on the show. I've been doing the show for a couple months now by myself, and it'll be fun to banter. We had Wyatt Miller, who will be coming on again very soon, the Philadelphia Water Dogs beat writer for the PLL, to kind of get us that early season report, and we'll be talking with Wyatt again soon for sure. But it's fun to get new people on this show and introduce them to our audience, and really grow our audience, bring their audience in, and really cultivate the community aspect of Underground Sports Philadelphia. So very excited to have Jose on in the very near future, and talk some Union footy, and figure out what the hell's going wrong down there in Chester. But man, what a time to be alive in Philadelphia. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI, Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI. Check us out on LinkedIn. You can follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. smash the like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment down below. Let's get to 900 subscribers before the end of July. We're at 815. 85 more of you just need to subscribe. I think that's doable. Let's make it happen. Let's build this community up and make it that much better. Be sure to also get your merch. Support Underground Sports Philadelphia across your chest with our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. If you want to stand out in the crowd at Citizens Bank Park this summer, maybe you're going to the Soob. If you're, hanging out with your friends and family, going to the bar, whatever it may be, stand out in the crowd with your favorite teams: Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Union, and Underground Sports Philadelphia. The official merch provider of Underground Sports Philadelphia is PHI Apparel Company. Stand out in the crowd. Use code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co for 10% off your order. Most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's phiapparel.co and get 10% off with code UNDERGROUND at checkout on your next merch order. And of course, guys, this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. Big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. And again, big shout out to the homie Jamil Demby for the awesome sit-down interview after your camp. And we'll talk to the people soon, brother. This has been episode number 653 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. I'm KB. Let's go, Phils. Let's finish this first half strong. Feeling good about the Sixers, everybody. I'll talk to you guys soon. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.